r/datingoverforty. Tall lad 9334 says, if therapy is important to you. I wish I could change the title. I should have said something along the lines of if self-growth is important to you. Therapy is just one of many ways to achieve that. After 2 days of chatting with a match at a rather in-depth level, I asked what they have done to heal from their divorce, and the answer was, when your narcissistic partner decides they no longer want to be with you, you march on. I asked if they have ever been in therapy, and the response was, it doesn't work for me. I asked a few more questions about personal growth and how they achieved it: meditation, journaling, listening to podcasts. They said no to all of the above, and that they learn by doing. As a person who values the benefits of therapy, would this give you pause? Are there other things you would look for from, or ask a person who gave these answers? Substantial and 4010 says, change requires hard work. I was previously in the camp that therapy didn't work for me or was not needed. Therapy doesn't work well when you are not honest with yourself and your therapist. I would be extremely cautious of anyone who can't articulate what they did and how they changed. Learning by doing is just another way of saying they continue to make mistakes and are not reflecting on past mistakes. My 55 male wife left in January after 33 years. It took a month of grieving and reflection to decide that I needed to accept responsibility for my role in the failure of the marriage, and I promised myself I wouldn't make those mistakes again. I started working out and eating right. I lost 25 lbs. I started reading books, meditating, journaling, listening to podcasts, and figure out a new direction for my life. I went on a few dates in June and figured out a bunch of new things I needed to work on. I started therapy a few weeks ago because I needed a fresh perspective and to figure out what I couldn't see about myself. I noticed on the dates I went on who did the work to change and those who didn't. Carrot aggravating 454 says, also, as a fellow man, thank you for being a role model here. Some men would become bitter, sour, and refuse their roles and fester in their own loathing. You accepted your part, learned, and came out better on the other side. Therapy has such a stigma, and I'm so tired of it. Gutangus says, I'm a therapist and I appreciate all you men who destigmatize and role model the growth. Celine Digent says, narcissist is the new crazy in reference to exes. Although I don't believe that therapy is the end-all be-all of mental wellness, I will take a step back from anyone who uses pop psychology/relationship astrology Dr. Point TikTok speak to abdicate themselves of any wrongdoing in romantic relationships. I like it to spiritual bypassing, but for self-help. It's a sign that they are not over it and still attached enough to be on the /defensive. Admirable at 7666 says, same. Referring to their ex as a narcissist would give me great pause. While therapy and journaling aren't necessary to process a breakup, they reinforce the story of someone who wasn't figured out their own role in why their ex wanted them to leave. Feeling Painter 9344 says, I'm a huge proponent of therapy and wouldn't be here without it. It took me 20 years of therapy and 3 different therapists to finally have it all click. That being said, you haven't met this person yet, and it seems like you are applying a standard of judgment on their entire being before you even really know everything. Now, you can cut them off right away if not going to therapy after a divorce is a deal breaker for you, but you could also note it and meet them and see how emotionally healthy they are in relation to you, here and now. r/datingoverforty. Swerky81 says, hit on someone in wild, got rejected nicely, way older than me. I've been trying to meet people in real life, and there's a couple of prospects. I took my chance and asked a man for coffee. He was a salesman, and I did post here about him. Well, he said he was too old for me, and I, too young for him. 20 years difference. I do think it is a bit much, but there was hope, even for something short. My ego does sting today, and I'm sad though. It was nice anticipating feeling wanted, the feeling of having a crush. I'm happy though, that I took the plunge, and asked him for a coffee, and then later flirted via text. He said I should call him, and then he rejected me. I'm sure if I was like even just 5 years older, sigh. That's my rant for today. Energy Crutcher says, rejection is a part of interacting with others. I'm glad you took that step. I hope the next one lands and they are good to you. SWM 412 says, I'd be very flattered if someone 20 years younger than me asked me. I'm always the one who does the asking. Don't think of it as being rejected, think of it being one step closer to your own prince. You'll have to kiss some frogs along the way though. Rabid Wombat 23 says, good on you for taking the chance. I'm convinced that this is just like a hockey game. Lots of shots, very few goals, and the only way you will ever score is to just keep trying. Those who don't shoot never score. Good luck on future attempts. Dorkmaster79 says, oh man, last year I went up to a woman at the bar, about my age. We waited for our drinks, and we happened to be side by side. We joked about the sticky floor. I asked her name, and she gives me this least interested handshake, then walked away. Honestly, it was funny. I was like, message received, loud and clear. Turbulent Mind 3120 says, it's good practice, try again with someone else. Whiskey Delta Bravo 1 says, if a woman 20 years younger than me, she'd be 29 or 30, was to shoot her shot with me, I'd probably pass out from shock. Then I'd politely turn her down when I woke up, because I likely have nothing in common with someone that much younger than me. Little Sister 10 says, younger guys hit on me, and then I gently work, in that I'm older than they realize. Just today, I was chatting with a guy for a while and he mentioned getting my number and I jokingly worked, in that he was probably way younger, in his 30s, which isn't really that much younger, but life is full of rejection and I say it's better to try than not. I'm sure the guy was flattered regardless. r/datingoverforty. Known Cheesa Cake 998 says, ended a 2+ year relationship, it sucks. I dated this man for over 2 years and our relationship ended recently. It sucks because we really loved each other and were compatible, but work/life/kids got in the way. Or he just used that as an excuse to stop trying, like he did in the beginning. This dating over 40 is so interesting, in the most challenging sense. It was great to love and be loved, but I think it's easier to fade off into the sunset, since we all have our own lives. I'm sad but also leaning into the things that I love about my life and the things I love to do. There's always more work to do, but I'm trying to reflect on the time we spent, and the joy we had plus how much I grew in our relationship. It is hard, because no matter that it is the right thing, it still feels like rejection. Any advice for how to navigate this time of transition? We've already gone no contact, and he respects my wishes, so it's just how to stay out of my own head. Fit Platform 4720 says, best I can do, based on personal experience, take a break. Be a happy single. Enjoy all the little things in life. Cultivate gratitude for everything you can. Remember all the good things that you experienced and learned in that relationship and what you got out of it. When you are feeling like it's time, patiently put yourself out there, knowing yourself and what you want even better. Vegetable around 2819 says, somewhere I read this advice to process a breakup. I can't credit it because I don't recall. Write down 3 things: the needs you got met, what it cost you to be in the relationship, what you have regained. Also, if you think of the qualities in that person that drew you to them, think of where else those traits are found in your life. Say, if you broke up with someone whose athletic ability attracted you, you could call your sporty friends for a bike ride. Anuba Jinning now says, rejection means I don't want you, for whatever reason. If work/life/kids are the culprit, then what he's saying to you is I want you, and want to make it work with you, but I simply am unable to make it work. That happens, and it means it wasn't rejection. Now that you know it's not you, just try to meet someone new when you're ready, and in the meantime, do things you enjoy, such as a project that was put on the back burner or a hobby you didn't have time for. Empathetic Witch says, during anxious and uncertain periods in relationships, my default has been to run through it over and over in my head. Looking for threads of what I should have seen, didn't consider things of that nature. I come to a point where I know these thoughts can't continue living in my head. That's when grab my journal and fountain pen and start dumping all of it onto paper. It gets it out of me, and I've been able to see the threads more clearly. We either win or we learn. That process helps me learn, so I don't harm anyone next time or myself. You got this. FlashyAd5619 says, it is a rejection, but I wouldn't take it personal. And also, every relationship has a beginning, a middle and an end. All relationships will end at some point. I've come to the conclusion that it's easier to blend lives when we are younger and have less baggage. The relationship and the marriage that I had for most of my adult life cannot be duplicated in any way, shape or form. That's because when we are young, everything in life is new. We are doing a lot of things together for the first time. We are embarking on uncharted territory together, etc. I also think about the marriage failure rate of second and subsequent marriages. It's over 70%. Compared to first marriages allegedly being 50%. I think it has to do with the fact that people already have their lives and their families in place, and it's really hard to interrupt and blend with a new person. The territory is already charted, memories and that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.